Good morning, planners. This is David Monroe, CCIM, and this is episode 37 of The Weekly Planner. Did you notice that change? I've decided moving forward that we're going to do weekly episodes instead of daily episodes. I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and I tried to get some feedback from everyone and see which way they thought they'd like it to go. And after doing daily episodes for the entire month of January, I decided that between the work it took to put the episode together and publish it and everything else that's going on, and really looking at it and do people really need to or listen to a podcast that is daily, that's just talking about goal setting and doing your weekly tasks, and decided that I was going to go ahead and scrap it going forward daily, and we're just going to do it weekly. And really, I'm going to work towards creating a weekly workshop that I think will really benefit everybody. But in the meantime, I think that a weekly podcast to discuss the goals that we set for the previous week, how we did during the week, and then set our goals for next week, and so that we can really get a feel for what we're doing for our quarterly goals and our annual goals and help us moving forward, will benefit everyone. So I just want to let everybody know that this is now rebranded, and it is now the Weekly Planner, no longer the Daily Planner. So did you guys watch that Super Bowl yesterday? I don't know about you, and for those of you that have listened before, I was a Rams fan when I watched the NFL. If you remember, I said that in 2014, when the Rams came out after the Ferguson event and made a political statement, that I quit watching NFL after that. I'm still a huge college fan and never miss a college football weekend. But I did watch the Super Bowl yesterday. It was the only NFL game I watched the entire year. And, honestly, I would have been better off just doing something else. It was very disappointing to me, and not because of how bad the Rams played on offense. It was just a boring game. I didn't enjoy it at all. Anyway, congratulations to the New England Patriots. They accomplished a feat only one other team in the NFL has been able to accomplish, and that's 6 Super Bowl wins, and even more for Tom Brady, his 9th Super Bowl and 6 wins in those 9 Super Bowls. And the guy really needs to retire, but it looks like he's going to come back for another year. Yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, what I'd like you to do is, if you would, please leave a comment below and just let me know that you're okay with going weekly on the podcast, or if you'd rather go back to daily. I can make that adjustment based on whatever feedback you can leave me. So looking back at last week, it really was all about the 30-day challenge and negotiations. And what I mean by that is I had 2 portfolios that I had received offers on, a small 65-unit portfolio down here in southern Mississippi, as well as a 350-unit portfolio also in southern Mississippi. So we've been negotiating back and forth between the buyers and the sellers, between both portfolios. Neither one of those are easy transactions. The deal with the little 65-unit portfolio, which is a mix of some like 12-unit, 4-unit, 8-unit properties mixed around a little town in southern Mississippi, it's in a really, really, really bad neighborhood. And that is its biggest challenge. That and the fact that it's only around 50% occupied. It's been a struggle to try and sell that little portfolio. But we actually now have 2 active buyers looking at it, and we're beginning negotiations on both those. So we spent some time on that last week, as well as the 350-unit portfolio. I've got a really active buyer on that really wants that, and we discussed it quite a bit in the podcast this last week. But it looks like we're starting to really move some steps forward to coming to an agreement on that. And I think between the seller's motivation and the buyer's motivation, that we're going to be able to bring them together and go ahead and take that larger portfolio down. Although it's not a large portfolio, 350 units isn't large, but it's a good size. So working on the 30-day challenge, my focus for the week was to complete all the tasks from the 30-day challenge. And every day we had things we had to do, and it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, depending on what those tasks were, to complete those challenge steps. And for last week, it was all about hooks and stories and trying to put the information together for selling whatever it is we sell. And so what I wanted to do was learn and implement the psychology behind selling as I get ready to launch a new campaign. And that new campaign is going to be not just in brokerage, and I will be launching a new prospecting campaign in brokerage, as well as a prospecting campaign for properties that we want to purchase ourselves. But I'm also launching a campaign for some online courses. And if you remember in my annual goals, I talked about wanting to make $350,000 this year from online courses. So all those together this week was really focused on creating the stories behind the messaging and pulling the hooks out of those stories to capture attention. And, understanding, how the hooks are built into the stories, or how when you create a story, there's hooks built in them. And really gaining that understanding was a little bit of a struggle for the latter part of the weekend. I finally, after a lot of study, I realized that hooks capture the attention of the reader, the listener, or the watcher, and that they will become the headlines or the images for the ads and videos to get somebody to watch, read, listen, or click a link. It was like, ding, this little light bulb came off in my head and said, okay, I think I get this now. So as I went through all of the stories that I had written down for each pieces of the offer, I was able to yank those hooks out and just write them down. This week we're going to actually start creating headlines from those hooks as we start to actually build the model itself within our marketing software that we currently have. So the plan for last week was to attempt to contact 125 prospects to sell the off-market inventory and find new opportunities, and to complete all the tasks assigned from the 30-day challenge and, lose a couple of pounds. Between the tasks from the 30-day challenge and the negotiations on the two portfolios, as well as some pop-up things that occurred, dealing with contractors in my house, it was a struggle to keep up with my contact attempts each day. So by the end of the week, I had made 81 contact attempts, and that actually ended up being about 68% of the 125 I wanted to make. If you remember from earlier episodes, I always say you want to try to achieve at least 80%. 100% is perfection, and perfection is unattainable. And if I'm attaining 100% every week, then I need to adjust it higher, because we really shouldn't be doing 100%, or we're not stretching ourselves far enough. I ended up talking to 25 decision makers, which made it a 30% contact attempt to reaching the contact ratio. I scheduled 5 appointments, which made it a 20% contact to appointment ratio. I held 9 appointments. I didn't sign any new contracts and had no closings. And even though I didn't sign any new contracts, we do have 3 offers on the table, 2 for one property, 1 for the other. So it looks like we're starting to gain a little traction there. I completed all the tasks from the 30-day challenge by Saturday evening. It was quite the week. There was a lot to do. Creating the stories was probably the hardest thing. If you notice, as I'm doing my my weekly goals and before the daily planner, now the weekly planner, you'll see that I had changed about midweek into creating stories and stop reading from a script and do it all off the cuff. So everything it seems to be centered around stories, and I'm liking a lot. And the last thing for the week was to lose 2 pounds by the end of the week, and I did indeed lose the 2 pounds. I'm now at 252 pounds. So I truly believe that I have become a better salesperson from the knowledge of seeing how to pull those hooks from the stories and using the stories in every communication, online or offline. And again, you're probably seeing that as we go through the weekly planner and previously the daily planner. So next week, for my weekly goals, again, I'm going to try to attempt 125 prospects to sell off-market inventory and find new opportunities. I didn't make that this week, so I'm going to set that again as my weekly goal. And if it looks like I end up making 125 next week, then I'll increase that number for the following week. But until I can get over that 80%, 125 looks like that's a pretty good number for right now. I'm going to complete all the tasks assigned from the 30-day challenge, and this week's going to be a tough one. If you've been following, you'll learn that the previous 2 weeks, we were given the weekends to catch up on everything. Well, this week, there's no catch-up days. We're going to have new tasks every day, Monday through Sunday this week. So this is going to be a long week with the 30-day challenge. So once again, I'm putting my focus for this week on completing those action steps for the 30-day challenge. Then I also want to publish 7 Facebook Live episodes. You might have noticed last week I published 4 Facebook Lives. I think starting Tuesday was the first one, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I didn't do one over the weekend. I needed to take a little break this weekend. I've been working really hard the last 5-6 weeks, and my wife said, you need to stop or we're going to have some problems. So I did some work on Saturday and Sunday, but not a lot. I got my blog post published, so I've now done 5 weekly blog posts every single week, which really means I now have 5 chapters of the new book I'm writing. So I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to, at the end of the outline that I have set up, really having about a 25 to 30 chapter book that I'll be able to publish, and that's actually really exciting because I'd never in my life ever thought I'd write a book. And so the final weekly goal will be to lose 1 pound, my current weight right now being 252. So when we talk next week this time, I should be down to 251. And if you remember, my starting weight was 262 pounds on January 1st. And my goal was to lose 1 pound a week throughout the year and lose 50 pounds. And, I'm already 10 pounds down, and we're only 6 weeks into it. So I'm ahead of schedule in that respect. But we all know you always lose a little bit of weight pretty quickly in the beginning, and then it kind of gets a little harder from there. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. So look, if you want to be held accountable for completing your weekly goals, please leave a comment below with your goals for this week, and let's hold each other accountable. You guys are holding me accountable to complete my goals as I explain mine to you. I definitely don't want to look stupid, and I want to be able to do the best I can in front of you. If you'll do the same thing, then you'll feel the same way, and it'll push you to complete those goals. Trust me, doing this has absolutely pushed me to making my goals every single week. If you want to get updates when I release new episodes, or if you want to leave comments about the show, you can like my Facebook page at David Monroe CCIM, or you can follow my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn page, or my Twitter account at David Monroe 45, and at any one of those you'll be able to leave your comments from these episodes. Please like and share this podcast with friends and colleagues you feel would benefit from a little accountability from completing their goals. Be sure to catch my Facebook Live each day. I usually do them around between 5 and 7 p.m. I like to get a good full day in, so I've got something I can talk about. And then have a successful week, and I will talk to you guys next week.